Grand Rising loves, this is the altar spread for the collective today. And so the sacred geometry, I don't know if you remember seeing this a bit back, maybe about a week back. It actually showed up in the upright, but today it showed up in the reverse. Divine doorway, see how it has that beautiful Taurus, but in the deepest level of it, it's actually the Mayan calendar. And it's how you can access all dimensions, all time, all beings, um, ascended help, angels, etc. And so the lotuses represent your ability to ascend in that communion. But showing up in the reverse, it says you have blocked your ability to get into the doorway and to receive any of that information and wisdom. So you have blocked your wisdom. Normally, a block to that wisdom is a closed heart and ego. And so, what closes the heart quicker than anything else? Fear. So, really feel into any fear based thinking that you may be subscribing to right now and work on softening that so that you can get back into your heart and really quieting the ego. And I've said this a lot. And I will keep saying it because it is something that I know to be true. There is no use for the ego. There is immense use for the intellect. No, absolutely no use for the ego. And I think people, spiritual teachers, confuse those two concepts. The ego is an impediment. It actually is also an impediment to the intellect. So the ego is what judges. The ego is what says that something is better than or less than. The ego is what has the need to defend itself. That is ego. And to defend itself by harming another instead of the sacred rage where you're actually creating healthy boundaries. The ego will want you to injure that person, either mentally, emotionally, and physically even. So really feel into that. The divine doorway is being blocked by you. What judgments do you have? Where is your ego creeping in? Like for me, I know for sure my ego shows up in relationship. And there's these deep-seated beliefs that I have about something else being more worthy than me. And I actually have a very clear image of what that worthy looks like. And it's really just insanity. That's ego. And so I right away start creating the energy of preparing myself for the letdown. And so thus creating the letdown, right? Because if I believe in my deepest belief that there is someone else that they would choose over me, then I will always draw in those men that are constantly seeking. Those restless men that just cannot commit. They have issues around commitment and they're always looking for that next best thing. And unfortunately, those men and women never find it. They are the ones that will go it alone forever, and it's sad. I send them compassion. But the divine doorway showing up in the reverse is that do you have something like that? Something that's impeding your connection with deep communion with self. And so the Andean cross, this talks about the symbol of ascension as well. This showed up upright. This is exciting, right? So this cross actually represents the portal of ascension, and those are the steps, right? So we can grow, we can climb and learn and ascend and enter that space. But the Andean cross is saying it's time for you to do that. So lay down everything and just do it. Don't go in your head and think of all the reasons why you should or shouldn't, because actually that's accessing ego. So whenever you're taught to think before you speak, that's ego. If you are that type of person that has to create the pros and cons list, the pros and cons list is ego. That's programming. That's not even you. You're accessing the programming of whoever you agreed to be their version of you. And it is so deeply seated that every major decision you make is theirs, not yours. So the Andean cross is saying, stop it. Don't even think, just do it. Jump, because you can feel the pull. That is sacred. Go. And I love that something different showed up today as far as stones, purification, tourmaline. And so this is actually very cohesive that this showed up, because that could very well be the cause of you being in ego, is some energetic congestion. So this is tourmaline. Isn't that beautiful? This is a big old chunk of tourmaline. This is how it grows in these beautiful striations. And this has a couple chunks of quartz throughout. It's beautiful. This is a little baby chunk of tourmaline. I'm going to lay that down here. And this is tourmalated quartz. So this is a raw piece of quartz, but it's got tourmaline in it. So all those black lines and specks, that's tourmaline. It's called tourmalated quartz. And this is a tourmalated quartz that has been polished. So quartz is an amplifying stone. So whenever you find another mineral growing, another crystal growing in quartz, it just amplifies the energy of that. So this would amplify the energy of tourmaline. So the personality, the job of tourmaline is to actually take in malicious, heavy, dark energy, and it transmutes it and turns it back out as good, purifying. And I love that about tourmaline. And so they're really beautiful to keep in the space. So like a big old baby like this that I keep in my bedroom, it's constantly cleansing the energy in this space so that I sleep really well. And I love that. So tourmaline, being the purifier, can also help you clear whatever the obstacle is for you to open that doorway and then jump through the doorway, right? So I love that tourmaline showed up. It's a beautiful earthy stone, so protective. Every protective stone has its very unique personality, the same as every psychic. None of us work the same. We're all very unique and different. And that's kind of the point. We're here to like own it and be that unique, magnificent self, and then we all get to be magnificent. So there's no overlaps. But this is telling you to really commune with yourself. Go through that doorway, but there's something blocking the doorway. And what is that thing that's blocking the doorway for you? And so Ingonyama showed up, and I loved the 22, because look, even the Andean cross is 2, so this is 3 2s showing up in the spread today. I love that. And so 2s talk about harmonizing relationship. It can be friendship, work relationship, intimate relationship, but it's the harmonizing of that. And so if you think about it, if you are really being your true self, there's nothing more free. You feel good. And then if the person decides to go, they were never staying with you for you anyway. They were staying with you for some other version of you. And so it just clears space for something that's ultimately meant for you. So Ingonyama talks about the gift of knowing what it feels like to be truly empowered. Okay? The honor of the ancient king, the beautiful lion. This energy is saying you deserve to be empowered. It is your birthright. And so when you jump through that divine doorway, when you clear the obstacle and you do that, the Andean cross says you will achieve ascension. And through that purification and ascension, you will know what it is to be truly empowered. Truly empowered. Now, can you even feel the weight of those words in fire? Feel the weight of the words in fire. To be truly empowered means you own your strength, your fortitude, your divinity, your magnificence. It's you. It's all you. And that's the spread for the day. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.